Personal finances. Now, I know this is not a personal finance YouTube channel. This is a business finance YouTube channel. However, anybody who owns a small business knows that your personal finances and your business finances they are inherently tied together, okay? So what I wanna do today is talk about the interplay of your business finances and our personal finances, and specifically what we need to be thinking about on our personal finances to help our business finances, okay? Now, there are gonna be a few people, very few business owners, I'm sure, who don't have to worry about their business bringing home money to their personal finances, okay? That's gonna be few and far between because maybe they've made money from something else and they can reinvest all the profits of their business back into their business, or maybe they're supported by a spouse, or maybe for lots of other reasons, they might potentially just not need to take any money out of the business. That's not who I'm talking to today. I'm talking specifically to the people who, which is the majority of business owners, need to bring home some money from their business to their personal finances and their personal finance situation, okay? So if that sounds interesting, that's what we're gonna talk about. Thanks for watching the Clara CFO Group channel. I am really happy to have you here. We are all about helping small businesses with their financial situation. So if you are a small business owner, you're very welcome here. Or if you help small business owners, also, you're very welcome here. We'd love to have you here as a subscriber. Business owners get paid by their businesses for in a couple different ways. They can get paid from draws or distributions. So if you are a sole proprietor, taxed as a sole proprietor, you're going to take a draw out of the business to pay yourself. Or if you're in a partnership, you're going to take a distribution. Or if you're a corporation, you might take a distribution or a dividend. So there's kind of, in a lot of ways, those are all the same thing, just different names. And then if you are potentially an S Corp or a corporation, you're going to also get wages, W-2 wages as an employee. And then a lot of situations, business owners are going to get both. They're going to get that distribution and they're going to get wages, specifically in the corporation situation. There are ways that money goes from the business to home. And I'm using that term home as the personal finance side of things. So we've got business finances where the business makes money, it spends money, and then you have business profits. Those profits can be brought over to the personal side. So if it's a business that is making a profit, that profit can be distributed in the form of a draw, a distribution to the business owner. Again, some business owners are going to have wages as part of their business expenses that get paid out in a paycheck, but then you're also going to have, potentially some draws on top of that. So the business that the business owner owns needs to bring home money for the business owner, so they can use it in their personal lives, for their mortgage or their rent, for their car payments, for the groceries, for the utilities, everything that they need to run their home, their personal savings, their retirement. They might have a work retirement, but they need to be able to have expenses to run their household. And with that, we need to know how much the business owner really needs at home. I ask this to my clients all the time so I can understand how much does the business need to be producing, because we need to know if the business is profitable enough to give the business owner what they need at home. And I find that oftentimes business owners don't have a really good grasp of how much they need to have to pay all the bills that they need to at home, and to, have any initiatives that they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to save for a vacation, or maybe they're trying to pay off some debt. Maybe they're trying to do a remodel on their house, or maybe they're saving for a wedding. We've had a couple clients get married in the past year, which is so exciting. But, those types of things, they have higher expenses for different times, and they need to know how much they need their business to help out on the personal side, okay? So my question for you is, do you know how much you need to run your household? Do you know how much your business needs to be bringing over? If you don't, I want you to, first, you might say a number, but I want you to be really clear. Is that actually the number? Sometimes people will say, I don't know, I need $10,000 a month. And then when they really get down to it and they look at all their expenses, $10,000 a month is not enough for them in their spending habits. Now, what might need to happen is maybe they need to change their spending habits because they're spending too much for what the business can realistically bring in. But you need to be realistic with yourself. How much does your home life actually need to operate and to operate well and to get you into a financially healthy place? I will also say that oftentimes what I see is that people that kind of have messy personal finance lives, that will carry over into your business finance lives, unless they've been really diligent of like, hey, I know my home life finances is a mess. I'm going to get people on and hire people in really quickly to make sure that I'm not misstepping on my business finances. That does happen sometimes, but oftentimes, if you have somebody at home who is using credit cards irresponsibly, oftentimes they will use business credit cards irresponsibly as well, and they can rack up debt. So, there's something to be said for like, if you get your, clean your house, your personal life up, it will also be able to carry over into your business as well. So we do see some correlation there. With the personal side of things, I want you to be really honest of how much you need. And this was something that somebody asked a couple years ago. And when I was really honest with myself, I had a number, but then the number that I really needed was about $5,000 more than that per month. And I was kind of just thinking optimistically of like, what was the minimum I needed in my business to bring in? But really the number I should have been saying was, what is the number that allows me to do all the savings that I want to do and allows me to build the retirement that I need and to save for, my daughter's college, things like that. So I needed to kind of up it. And what happened really with that is when I started to really think about the number I really needed for my business, I made better financial decisions in my business because I realized how much I really needed my business to pay me back. Okay. Or how much I needed to be able to take out of the business. And I'm pointing over here because I'm saying business is over here, personal is over here. Okay. When I started to really think about my business and know what I really needed from it, the decisions supported that. And I was able to, make better profitable decisions, increase prices, take on jobs that were higher profit margin. So it just naturally happens. So don't lowball your number just because you can get that. Like think about really what you need to live a full, robust life in your personal life to be able for the business to support it. Okay. When you are trying to figure out your personal finances, if this is not a skill that you have right now, I want to give you a couple things that you can think about. So one thing that you want to do is you want to accumulate all of your financial data so that you know everything about it. So pull in all of your bank accounts, any credit cards that you have so you can understand the balances on credit cards. Pull any other debts if you have any personal loans or you have any maybe outstanding bills to maybe vendors. If you have a car payment, if you have multiple car payments, pull everything that you own so that you can really get a good, clear picture of what do you own and what do you owe. Okay. And then also, what do you spend and what money is coming in? What are your revenue sources? Maybe you have a significant other that brings money into the household, or maybe you have multiple streams of income. Maybe you have a rental property, maybe you have lots of different things that contribute to the household income. And then you'll need to understand what are those expenses to be able to take care of the household. And you'll also need to look at what debt payments do you have, because debt payments going out, that's cash flow that you're going to need from your business to be able to pay, from your business or from other sources, to be able to pay your debts off, okay? So be realistic, accumulate everything, and get just a really clear picture. You can set up a kind of an accounting system for your personal finances. I use something called Monarch, and if you guys want me to do a walkthrough of Monarch, I've been so happy with it, so I'm happy to use that. I used Mint for a while, but I think Mint is closing down. It's an Intuit product, but I think they're closing from what I hear. And then there's You Need a Budget, and there's a couple other things as well. I've also used something called Tiller. I'm not sure if that's still a thing, but it was all in Google Sheets. So there's lots of different options for personal finance and tracking everything, but it's really about just getting that full, clear picture. Everything going in and everything going out. And that will help you get a sense of like monthly, what's the average of what I need? And then you can start to figure out, okay, maybe I need, 20% on top of what my monthly average is for the variability of different needs at different times. You also want to plan for things that maybe you aren't doing now, but you want to do in the future. Plan for any savings, plan for any debt that you know that you need to pay off. And, you can come up with a good number of what makes sense that you think that your business needs to be able to provide you in a year or in a month. And then once you know what that number is, then you can start working it into the plan of what you need your business to do for you. And I really like, again, the use of a cash flow forecast for this so that you can say, okay, maybe it's $15,000 I need for my business every month. If I can put everything into my cash flow forecast and I know I need $15,000 coming out every single month, you can see what is working, or like if your business can sustain your $15,000 a month habit, or if you need to make some decisions in your business to increase your revenue or to decrease expenses in order to hit your $15,000 and still not go too low in your cash balance. So you can plan for that knowing, hey, this is what I actually need. Then you can start to pull the levers to make it work. If you are a personal finance nerd, you probably have people that you like to listen to, but if you aren't, I want to give you a couple names of people that might be helpful for you. I like these individuals because they have a mentality that's more like flexible to what is important to you, versus maybe there's other personal finance people that'll just say, this is the way, you have to do it this way. There's no other way, you got to do this. And you might know who I'm talking about, but I don't really love that approach because I think we're all humans and we need to have some flexibility and we need to know what works for us. So a couple of people that I like. So I like Ramit Sethi. So he has a podcast called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And he also has a Netflix special. I think it's worth watching. And I also like Tori Dunlap. She's with Financial Feminist, and she has a podcast called Her First 100K. So really geared towards women and their money. There's a lot of need for that because a lot of finance education has really been kind of led by men and, is not always considering the female perspective. So definitely check out Tori. She's got a really great podcast and she's got a lot of resources. And then somebody that I watch on TikTok, her name is Vivian Tu. She just came out with a book called Rich AF, and it is on my way. It's on its way to me right now because I have ordered it and I'm looking forward to reviewing it for you guys. But I like her. She has a Your Rich BFF on TikTok and Instagram and things like that. And she always has a lot of tips. One of her things is really about thinking about how you can increase your salary. Tori talks about that as well, because sometimes and really this is with your businesses, like how can you increase revenue rather than trying to cut another latte out of your life, okay? You can only cut so many expenses out of your business or out of your life. And if you, at some point, you're gonna have to increase the top line. You're gonna have to increase your personal income or increase your business income. It's not just about cutting expenses. So I like that approach because I think it has more of an abundant approach to personal finance rather than this very restrictive, like no fun, no lattes, no anything. So if you like that too, you might want to check out those resources. So also there's a bunch of great tools to help you. I mentioned some of them before. Monarch, You Need a Budget, Tiller, if that's still around, and definitely check out what makes sense for you in your brain and how do you like to manage your finances. If you like a bunch of Excel spreadsheets or if you'd prefer like a pretty system that has really nice graphics, think about what makes sense and what will make it an enjoyable thing for you. Sometimes people don't want to look at their money. It's not enjoyable. So think about how you can make it a good process for you. Okay? What do you need from your business? What do you need your business to produce for you in order to have a healthy home financial life as well? Okay. And our businesses are really here to serve us. They're here to serve our employees. They're here to serve our customers, our clients, but also they're meant to serve the business owner, and they should be producing money for the business owner to take home as part of their personal income. So that's my theory on it. And if you have any questions or if you want more personal finance videos, let me know. This is not going to turn into a personal finance channel in any kind of way, but I think there is a lot that we need to talk about because of that interplay between the business and the personal. So if this is helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And I will see you next week. All right. Bye, everybody.